With focus being a big theme lately, something that came to my mind recently is optical illusions. And I remember learning about optical illusions in school, maybe middle school, throughout high school as well. And one of the most popular ones that I feel like most of us probably remember is the one with the young woman who is also an older woman as well. This one right here. For my point in making the connection between focus and optical illusions, I'm going to be using the first two websites. The first two websites here that pulled up on Google when you search optical illusions. The first one is Optics for Kids. And right here, this is their definition. It says optical illusions can use color, light, and patterns to create images that can be deceptive or misleading to our brains. The information gathered by the eye is processed by the brain, creating a perception that in reality does not match the true image. Perception refers to the interpretation of what we take in through our eyes. Optical illusions occur because our brain is trying to interpret what we see and make sense of the world around us. Optical illusions simply trick our brains into seeing things which may or may not be real. My point is, just like with optical illusions, how the image can kind of trick our brains into seeing what, we see with our own perspective of how we correlate things to the world around us. The same thing with trying to find your focus or trying to focus on something. And with the specific thing that I'm talking about being content creation and things like that, being on YouTube and putting things out, our thoughts, feelings, our perspectives, and our own insecurities and things like that can also mislead us and cause optical illusions in our lives in that aspect. When those things, such as our feelings and certain insecurities, are not the reality of the situation. It's just what we're so focused on and worried about that's the only thing we're seeing, and we're not seeing the full picture, and we're kind of misled or confused or just stuck in one specific angle or one specific point, again, that you can't see the whole big picture or what else is in the picture, or you're not using your creative mind to even come up with a new picture. You're just focused on, okay, this is the only thing that has to be, this is what I see, this is the first thing I see, and this is what has to be. This has to be what the image is. So going back onto the website to take a look at one of the images that they have for an example, this is just titled The Animal. And I was going to say it's a picture of, what I see at first. But for the example, it says, how many animals do you see in the image? And so when I first look at this image, I automatically see a duck. So obviously it's an optical illusion image, so it's not just going to be a duck. Obviously there's going to be more than one animal if they're asking how many animals do you see in the image. So you're trying to focus on this image and see what animals you see, how many animals you see. Some people are going to focus and say, I only see the duck, I don't see another animal. What are you talking about? Then some people, as they continue to focus and kind of zone out a little bit, well, not zone out, but kind of hone out a little bit to kind of see more of the image and not focus on one specific point, then they'll see, okay, I think I see a rabbit too, so that's two animals that I see. They're gonna keep looking, focusing more and more, and you're gonna either decide if you only see those two animals or if you just see the duck or the rabbit, whichever one, or keep focusing to see if you can find a third one. And if you focus too much, you're gonna be okay, is my mind playing tricks on me? Okay, I see the duck, I see the rabbit. Is it just these two? Is it another one? Is the beak supposed to be an image? And that's the part where I get to, your mind can get creative too. And with that, like I said, it can get to the point where it's a little bit too creative, or you're focusing a little bit too much, you're worrying a little bit too much, you're doing a little bit too much, to where you focused enough. You've got the picture, you've got the image, you see all the different points, you see all the different angles, you see all the different corners of the image, you see the big picture. You don't need to keep on focusing and trying to create a whole nother image out of what's already there once you find your focus and find your point. Sometimes it's okay to do that and be, a little bit extra creative and try to come up with something else. It's, being innovative and actually creating something new out of something that wasn't out of something that was previously there, or out of something that just wasn't there at all. Like, you see something, but you're making something completely different out of it. That's okay sometimes, but like I said, for the point of this, of finding your focus, it's like there's so many ways to go about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so hard sometimes when you're trying to figure out, especially with content creating, and you're trying to find out, what angle you want to go in. And people talk about finding a niche and certain things like that. On one hand, it might be good to have a niche, and I guess that depends on what type of content you're creating. And then on the other hand, it's kind of good not to put yourself in a box. Like for me, when I wanted to do poetry and stuff, and I still do want to make poetry content, but I don't just want to have a channel that's strictly about poetry, Dreamly poetry or Natasha's poetry or something, because I don't want to be in the box of just all I can do is make content about poetry. Our minds are so like complex. There's so many experiences and possibilities and things like that in this world. You can't just focus on one specific thing all the time, end all be all, just focusing on one specific thing, or just having your focus on one specific thing in life. As we grow and evolve, as we change, as we go through these experiences, as we learn from these experiences, as we hurt and heal, all of that is going to tie into just the mind being so complex and us having so many different things that we can learn and teach and discuss and expand on. With our thoughts, for example, being something that can mislead us into an optical illusion situation, we can think that we're meant to be doing something so specific, and we can't see the bigger picture of what else there might be that could be better for us in that situation. So sometimes you can feel like you found your purpose, you know exactly what it is, because you feel like you've been put on a specific path and you're doing the thing, it's go time, this is what it is, because this is the path I've been put on. Maybe for like a basic example, you can say, maybe you feel like your purpose is to work towards getting into a higher position at your job, or becoming the manager at that store or something. Maybe you work at a store and you don't like how management is. You feel like you have ideas, a better work ethic, all, those qualities that can make the store better, that can make everything beneficial for yourself, for your other employees, and or co-workers at the time, and for the customers that shop there, and even just for the community as a whole in general, like just the people that live in that community and want to shop there or need to shop there, or maybe haven't shopped there previously. Like, you've just got all these ideas and everything that can make this store a better place, and the surrounding stores, houses, the people that live there, make it beneficial for them and better for them as well. So you feel like your purpose is to work hard and become the manager of this store, but you're not paying attention to maybe you need to work towards having your own store, creating your own business, having your own store. You're the manager of it, and you can implement all those ideas and everything from the start at your store, instead of trying to work towards changing somebody else's store. And again, like I said, that's a real basic example, but it's an example. With that being an example, of course, it's not going to apply to everybody in everybody's situation, because of course there are some people that their purpose may be to be that, take over someone else's management position at another store and not have their own. Maybe that person, it's not fit for them to have their own business, their own store. They just need to, be the manager of someone else's store. The point is just knowing what you're focusing on and making sure you understand it and see it clearly for yourself, because whatever is surrounding that center point or that main focus, the surrounding things matter as well. Just like with the image of the younger woman and the older woman, someone can first look at it and say, oh, I see the young woman, so that's what this picture is. It's a young woman. That's what I see. Clearly, that's what I see. It's a young woman. But no, look a little harder, focus a little more to see the bigger picture, not just focus on that one point or that one corner, that first thing you saw. And then you can see, oh, well, it also looks like it can be an older woman too. There's another point of the picture. There's another angle of the picture. There's another direction that this picture can go in. and both can exist equally at the same time, or one of them can exist more, if that makes sense. But you've got to find that focal point for you and the surrounding points as well, that's going to tie it all together and make it that whole big picture, the right picture that's for you, and not just the illusion version of what you first saw or what you think you see. The other optical illusion image I was talking about was those that appear to be moving, but in reality they're actually still images. And so we're going to take a look at an example of that on the other website that I was talking about. This website or this blog is creativeblog.com, and that's with a Q instead of a G. And I'm going to be looking at their example image number 3, and this is the spinning vortex optical illusion. These are examples of what are known as psychological optical illusions. They're caused by the overstimulation of the brain's senses as a result for the eye seeing too much color, light, and movement or dimensions to be able to process. And with this purple and yellow vortex-like design, what happens is that the combination of the different patterns, lights, and levels trick your mind into thinking it's moving when you let your eyes wander over the design. So my correlation between that one and finding your focus is basically, we can feel like we have the right starting point sometimes, and we can have all these different ideas, again, with the mind just being so abstract and complex, with so many different ideas, experiences, just so many different life situations happening every day as we grow and evolve. We can feel like, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. This is what the focus is. This is the starting point that I'm taking, and this is the starting point. This is the right starting point. Right. But say it's something, basic and mundane, like materialistic things. Since we're talking about content creation, social media, online, let's just say someone feels like they have the right starting point and they're on the right track, and they have this motion and this movement going because they're getting a lot of likes and views. And if you're talking about on YouTube, they're getting subscribers as well. So yeah, if you look at it that way, it can look like something or someone has that movement if they have those numbers, those number metrics, the likes and all of that. But are these likes translating and converting to anything else? Speaking materialistically, okay, is it converting to money that you can put into a business or, to continue these ventures that you're doing with this content creation? Is it something that's going to benefit you and others around you as well? Your team, your tribe, whatever it is, the type of content that you're making, if you're, focused on the likes and things like that, is that type of content beneficial to you or anybody else? Or is it just BS that you're putting out that's, quick viral moment type of content, things that's trending? You want to put out a what's on my iPhone type of video. Well, if you're doing a video like that, are you showing something that on your iPhone that's going to help other content creators, or are you just doing it because, this is something that a lot of people search up, so let me do it too and show what's on my iPhone? But is what's on your iPhone different than everybody else's, or is it just the same? You're just showing everybody the same apps and you just got a different wallpaper. Or are you going to be sharing these different apps that maybe other content creators never heard of, that can help them or that can make a process easier for them in the long run? Doing something that's giving value to others. Or is it just that you're getting these likes, all these numbers and everything, and it's just validating you? Are these likes and numbers helping you, spiritually speaking, esoterically speaking? Are you having movement in that area? Is things in that area progressing? Or is it just the validation that's progressing because of you're getting this many likes and this many subscribers, etc.? So when you're trying to focus, is it on an optical illusion, or are you seeing every corner and taking in the whole picture, the whole big picture?